Stop. Look at your eyes for a second. Not the color, the system behind it. Because your eye color is not just appearance. It's not random. It's a survival mechanism, encoded in pigment, shaped by light, refined over thousands of years. And if your eyes are blue, they likely trace back to a single human ancestor. But that's only the surface. Because your eyes weren't designed. They were forced into shape by sunlight, by geography, by survival pressure. And even today, scientists still don't fully agree why some of these traits exist at all. Imagine this: no sunglasses, no buildings, no protection, just you and sunlight. Every ray hits your eyes directly. Too much light? It damages cells. It overwhelms your retina. Now change the environment. Cold, Northern Europe, long winters, low light. Now the danger isn't brightness, it's darkness. Not enough light means worse vision, slower reactions. So your biology adapts, not for beauty, for survival. In the next few minutes, you'll understand what actually determines your eye color, why blue eyes aren't really blue, how your genes control light, and what your eyes reveal about human evolution. And once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Your eye color isn't really color, it's a filter. At the center of it, melanin, a pigment inside your iris. More melanin, darker eyes. Less melanin, lighter eyes. But here's the key. Melanin doesn't just change how you look, it acts as a biological shield. It decides how much light enters, how much scatters, and how much gets absorbed by the back of your eye. Think of it as built-in sunglasses, hardwired into your DNA. However, the iris is not just a passive screen. It is a high-precision muscle system. In people with light eyes, the pupillary sphincter muscle has to work overtime under bright light. Because there is less pigment to absorb stray light, the visual system is often flooded with data. The brain must actively dial down this overdose of photons to maintain contrast, whereas dark eyes act like a professional darkroom, keeping the internal signal sharp and clean from the very beginning. This is where things get real. Melanin is protection. In high sun environments, more melanin, less UV damage, more stability. That's why darker eyes dominate near the equator. But in low light environments, too much protection becomes a problem. It blocks light your brain actually needs to regulate your internal clock. So evolution adjusts. Less melanin, more light enters. Better vision in the dim forests of the north. But there's a trade-off. Higher sensitivity, more glare, less protection. Nothing is perfect. Everything is a trade. What most people don't realize is that melanin is not a single, uniform substance. There are actually two distinct types in your eye. Eumelanin, which is deep brown to black, and pheomelanin, which is reddish-yellow. The exact mixing ratio of these two chemical compounds determines if your eyes show a cool ash-brown tone or a warm amber glow. This chemical signature is so stable that forensic scientists can now predict your eye color from DNA samples with incredible accuracy. Your eye isn't a paint box. It's a precisely calibrated chemical laboratory, mixing pigments to create the perfect optical filter for your specific ancestral environment. Now, here's what most people get wrong. There is no single eye color gene. This is a complex control system. Multiple genes interacting. Over 16 have been identified. But two dominate: OCA2 and HERC2. OCA2 produces the melanin. More activity, darker eyes. Less activity, lighter eyes. HERC2 is the master switch. If HERC2 mutes OCA2, melanin production drops. That's where the spectrum begins. It's not a binary choice, it's a sliding scale. Think of OCA2 as the light bulb and HERC2 as the dimmer switch. Every human eye starts with the blueprint for brown. It is only through the genetic dimming of melanin production that the spectrum of blues, greens, and hazels is allowed to emerge. Now, here's the part that sounds fake. Blue eyes aren't actually blue. There is no blue pigment in the human eye, no blue ink. What you're seeing is pure physics. Light enters the top layer of the iris, and it hits the tiny fibers there. The light scatters. This is called Rayleigh scattering. It's the exact same reason the sky looks blue. The shorter blue wavelengths hit particles and bounce back to your eyes, while the other colors are absorbed. If you could take the blue out of a blue eye, it would be clear, which means your eye color is partly a trick of the light. That's why blue eyes change. Ocean blue in sunlight, steely gray in shadow. And it gets even stranger. Research suggests every single blue-eyed person on Earth may share one common ancestor, one specific mutation in the HERC2 region, around 6,000 to 10,000 years ago near the Black Sea. Before that, everyone had brown eyes. This trait spread like wildfire across Europe. Why? Maybe it helped with vitamin D production. Maybe it was social selection. We still don't know. Which makes blue eyes one of the biggest open questions in human genetics. And what about the others? Green eyes. They are the rarest in the world. Only about 2% of people have them. It's a mix, a little bit of light brown melanin combined with that same blue scattering effect. Yellowish pigment plus blue light equals green. Hazel and amber. These are the chameleons. They have bursts of melanin that create a gold or copper ring. It's a spectrum, not a box. In fact, your iris contains about 240 individual traits, compared to only 40 in a fingerprint. Even identical twins have different iris patterns because the way these fibers settle is determined by chaotic fluid dynamics in the womb. Your eyes are the most complex biometric key nature has ever produced. So, the next time you look in the mirror, understand that you aren't just seeing a color. You are seeing the intersection of 16 different genes, the physics of Rayleigh scattering, and 10,000 years of evolutionary pressure. Your eyes are a sophisticated light management system, fine-tuned by your ancestors to survive in specific environments. You aren't just looking at yourself, you are looking at 10 millennia of biological optimization looking back at you. Your eyes aren't just windows, they are filters of deep time. Look closer.